Course. I start cooking it at 3:30 in the morning. The broth is a master stock. Best flavor on the whole street. Best flavor, I don't know, but the prices are certainly the best, Cole thought wryly. $10 for a bowl, $15 for an extra side of offal, $12 for a bowl with just lamb meat. And the portions weren't even that big. For 2010, that was a little steep. The profit margins had to be insane. Cole put on a shocked expression, amplifying the man's pain point. You start at 3:30? My God, that's so early. That must be exhausting. It is. You do it long enough, it takes a toll on you, the old man said with a sigh of deep agreement. Well, if business is good, the hard work is worth it, Cole said between bites. Business? The old man hesitated. It's just okay. It's hot now, so not many people are eating lamb. That's true, Cole nodded, as if he were deeply considering the man's plight. Then he asked casually, don't your kids help out? This must be so tiring for the two of you. They'd never do work this hard. They have office jobs. The old man sighed, a hint of resignation in his voice. What's a little hard work when you're making money? Still, you two deserve a break. Getting up at 3:30 every morning. I don't know how you do it, Cole said, his voice full of feigned sympathy. 3:30? It's 2:30. We have to get up to cut and marinate everything. 2:30. Oh my God, that's just brutal. Cole acted as if he'd been struck by lightning. He paused. Sir, I'll have another side of the offal. A customer ordering more food always put a shop owner in a better mood. As the old man brought the dish over, Cole probed further. Your kids' jobs can't possibly pay better than the shop, can they? With your skills, you must be raking in. The old man smiled and shook his head, a hint of a humble brag in his voice. One works for the utility company, the other's in Chicago. Their lives are much easier than mine. More respectable, too. They'd never want to take this over. Bingo. Cole's heart leaped. Dude, I think you're humble bragging, Cole thought. If I had a cushy job at the utility company, I wouldn't leave it either. He put on a look of awe, as if he were in the presence of greatness. No wonder. Sir, it sounds to me like you're showing off how blessed you are. What's there to be blessed about? It's just an ordinary life, the old man said, though his face glowed with pride. Cole struck while the iron was hot. Why don't you sell the shop? You've earned a right to enjoy your life. It's not worth running your health into the ground. Sell the shop. The old man seemed thoughtful. I've considered it, but I can't bear to let it go. I've been doing this for 10 years. I opened this place in 2000. I can understand that, Cole nodded, then shamelessly twisted the knife. You could probably keep working for your kids for another 10 years. Can't do it. I'm over 60, the old man sighed, shaking his head. Cole sighed too. You're at an age where you should be relaxing, enjoying a peaceful life. Why are you still working so hard? If you get the right price, you should just sell it. How can anyone stand getting up at 2:30 every morning? He then ordered another piece of flatbread and 3 orders of lamb, offal to go. It would keep the old man talking and give him something to bring to the 3 jackalls back at the dorm. My son has also tried to convince me to sell. He wants us to move to Chicago to help with the kids, but I just can't let go, the old man said as he packed the food. The old woman, who hadn't said a word until now, suddenly chimed in. You were born to work yourself to death. He asked you to go, and you refuse. Now our grandson has no one to look after him, and our daughter-in-law can't even go back to her job. The perfect assist. Cole rejoiced internally. Ma'am, I wish you a long and happy life. He had to follow up immediately. Feigning a casual interest, he said, Sir, why don't you sell it to my family? I wasn't planning on doing anything, but hearing you talk about selling, it suddenly makes me want to open a boba tea shop. You name the price for the transfer. Sell it to you? A flicker of hesitation crossed the old man's face, but perhaps the phrase, you name the price, made him more intrigued than suspicious. Cole had deliberately said my family to deflect any concerns about his youth. The old woman spoke up again. Young man, how much would you offer? Whatever the market rate is, I suppose. I don't really know. As long as you don't rip me off, I'm good, Cole said with a guileless smile. I'll have to think about it. The old man's eyes gleamed with a mixture of temptation and calculation. Cole knew it was time to back off. As he paid, he said, I'll leave you my number. I'm a student at Eastwood. It was only because I heard you mention selling that I even thought about starting a business. All right, that's fine, the old man nodded. Cole left with the takeout containers and headed toward the computer lab, a 30-minute walk if he hurried. On the way, he bought 2 cans of sunblock spray. Field training was about to start, and it was an absolute necessity unless he wanted his skin to peel off. That was a lesson learned through blood and tears. When he got to the computer lab, Preston and the other 2 were engrossed in a game of Dota. The 3 orders of lamb, offal, made them instantly forget their grudge about not being introduced to the goddess's roommate. Cole got a temporary login, played one round with them, and after being relentlessly flamed by his teammates and mocked by the opposition, he wisely switched to watching a movie. 2 days later, the 2-week-long freshman field training began. The entire College of Economics and Management trained together, including the accounting majors, but there were so many people that Cole never saw Luna. It was only when he was forced to stand at attention, stock still, that he truly understood the terror of an Eastwood summer. The blazing sun made him dizzy, and sweat poured down his body. It was a special kind of hell where you beg for both life and death. Fortunately, Cole was in good shape and handled it with ease. Javi and Frank managed to cope, but Preston complained nonstop. Every break became his personal grievance session. In the afternoon, a girl from the accounting department fainted and was sent to the infirmary. Cole couldn't help but worry, hoping it wasn't Luna. During a break, he pretended to wander over to the accounting majors area. Before he could even ask, he saw a girl craning her neck to look at him. He followed her gaze, and, sure enough, it was Luna, sitting among a group of girls of various shapes and sizes. Her black hair was pinned up under her cap, and her fair face was flushed from the sun. She looked timid, wanting to say hello, but afraid to, as if worried he might not be looking for her after all. "You didn't put on any sunblock?" Cole asked as he walked over. Luna whispered no. From her blank expression, he could tell the concept of sunblock had never even occurred to her. It wasn't just her. The girls next to her were also red-faced. Clearly, none of them had thought of it. Cole pulled out a can of sunblock spray. "Close your eyes. Hold your breath." Without a moment's hesitation, Luna did as she was told, tilting her face up and closing her eyes. For a second, she looked as if she were waiting for a kiss. The other girls stared, stunned. Cole sprayed a fine, even mist over her flushed face and down her slender neck. He bought a good brand that didn't have a harsh smell. A guy had to treat himself right, after all. "You can open your eyes now." Luna's eyes fluttered open. They were dewy and bright. Her moist, rosy cheeks, combined with her obedient expression, made her look incredibly delicate and captivating. Even Cole had to admit to himself, she really is beautiful. Too bad she's so thin. She looks like a kid who hasn't finished growing. "Your hands, too." Luna quickly held out the backs of her hands. Cole sprayed them, then pulled another, unopened can from his pocket and handed it to her. "Don't rub it in. Spray it on every morning before you come out, and again during breaks. 4 or 5 times a day." "Okay." Luna's eyes flickered, her gaze fixed on Cole's face. "And don't worry about using it up. I'll bring you a few more cans tomorrow." Cole said this last part loud enough for the girls next to her to hear. Judging by the atmosphere, Luna's roommates seemed to be treating her well. Luna was about to say that one can was enough, but when she met Cole's non-negotiable gaze, she swallowed her words. "Okay. All right, I'm heading back." With that, Cole walked back to his own group. Once Cole's back was turned, Brianna nudged Luna's shoulder. "He's gone, stop staring. Hurry up and spray your big cisbri." A little flustered, Luna handed over the can. Brianna examined it and whistled. "This stuff is like 70 or 80 bucks a can, isn't it? He's really willing to spend on you. 70 or $80. Luna was shocked. It was so expensive. She couldn't possibly accept it. She thought about chasing after him to return it, but then she remembered his determined attitude and that commanding look in his eyes. He'd probably get angry if she tried to give it back. After a moment of hesitation, she decided against it. "I'll buy him something nice when I have money later." The other girls gathered around. They all knew they should be using sunblock, but who could afford to buy it? They just tough it out. It wasn't the first time they'd been out in the sun. "I can't believe it. You're so quiet, but you've been hiding a boyfriend from us," Brianna said, spraying herself generously, her tone slightly aggrieved. "No, I don't." Luna's heart skipped a beat, and she quickly denied it. But the image of him and the feeling of absolute safety he gave her filled her mind. "I don't my ass. He tells you to do something, and you just say, okay, okay. He tells you to close your eyes, and you just do it. You look like you were waiting for him to kiss you," Brianna said scornfully, spraying herself again. "Seriously, I couldn't watch," Felicity said, snatching the can and giving herself a continuous spray. It was free, after all. She then passed it to the other 3 roommates. "I really don't," Luna insisted, getting a little desperate. It was the truth. She understood what boyfriend meant. Back home, it was like having a sweetheart. But she didn't realize that the more she denied it, the more guilty she sounded. "When did you meet?" "High school," Brianna mused. It couldn't have been since she got here. Things didn't happen that fast. Luna instinctively wanted to explain, but the words died on her lips. She looked down and fell silent. If she explained, she'd have to mention the shop Cole was opening. It wouldn't be right to just broadcast that. He trusted her. She couldn't be the one with the loose lips. Seeing Luna's reaction, Brianna knew she wasn't going to say any more. Fine, don't tell us. Big sis Bree is just worried you'll run into a bad guy. She slung an arm around Luna's shoulders, a strange look in her eye. But I have to ask you a question. What is it? Luna asked. Brianna's eyes glinted with mischief as she leaned in and whispered in her ear. Does he know about your, Brianna's last few words were for Luna's ears only. At first, Luna didn't understand what she meant. After a 2-second delay, it dawned on her, and she blushed furiously, shaking her head. No, he doesn't know. Then he must have fallen for your face. Let me tell you, you need to be careful. Don't let some jerk fool you. Don't you dare let him touch your big bunnies until he's passed all your tests, Brianna whispered, genuinely concerned. This roommate had a high probability of becoming some rich guy's wife someday, but only if she wasn't scammed or tricked by a player. Luna was mortified and couldn't listen to another word. She buried her face in her hands. Bree, can we please not talk about this? Please. Brianna had no choice but to drop it. But her words stuck with Luna. She could feel that Cole didn't have that kind of interest in her. He certainly didn't have the creepy, disgusting stare she'd gotten from other guys before. He just purely wanted to help her through a tough time. Luna thought back to their journey since meeting on the train. A special, warm, and secure feeling bloomed in her chest. If Cole hadn't appeared, with no ulterior motives, she didn't know what would have happened to her. She might have fainted on the train, her poverty exposed to everyone. If she was unlucky, some bad person might have taken advantage of her. That night she lost her money. She had felt so desperate and helpless, with no idea what to do. All her courage had crumbled. Maybe jumping into the lake was the most dignified way out, a way to protect her last shred of pride. If he hadn't shown up, she would have certainly walked the 2 miles to that lake. At that thought, Luna tightened her grip on the can of sunblock. When he opens his shop, I'm going to work as hard as I can. I'll do everything in my power to repay him. It was almost 8 p.m. when the day's training finally ended. Preston, who had been like a dead dog all day, instantly came back to life. Come on, guys, let's go play a few rounds of Dota. I don't know, man. We have to get up early tomorrow, Javi said, worried he wouldn't be able to wake up. What's there to be afraid of? During summer break, I stayed up for 2 nights straight and was totally fine, Frank chimed in, eager to go. Preston glanced at Cole. He decided not to even ask. Cole's gaming skills were so bad. It was better if he didn't come. He turned to Frank. Let's just the 2 of us go. We'll play a couple of rounds and come back. The 2 of them didn't even bother going back to the dorm and headed straight for the computer lab. Cole, however, walked toward Hillside Avenue. He promised to buy more sunblock. As he passed the soup shop, he noticed only a couple of customers inside. The old man was working alone. The old woman was gone. He hadn't gotten a call yet, but Cole wasn't worried. Some things took time. The more you pushed, the harder it became. Painful lessons from his past life's romantic failures and the effortless successes that followed had taught him a profound truth. Negotiating with clients was the same as wooing women. It was all about a slow, steady approach, 9 gentle nudges for every one decisive move. Past the restaurant section, the shops on either side of the street shifted to clothing and skincare boutiques. Online shopping hadn't quite taken over yet, so brick-and-mortar stores still did good business. He found the same shop from the other day and bought 2 more cans of sunblock. After wandering around for a bit, he passed the soup shop again on his way back to campus. The old man was still there by himself, a sour look on his face. Did he and his wife get into a fight? Cole wondered deviously. Hey, I'm just trying to help you 2 retire and enjoy your lives. He had just stepped through the campus gates when his phone buzzed with a Facebook message. Serena, my feet are killing me from standing all day. Cole's eyebrows shot up. He typed back a cheeky reply. Technician no. 88 at your service. The moment he hit send, he realized his mistake. Crap, this isn't 2024. She won't get the joke. She's going to think I'm actually some kind of repairman. He instinctively tried to unsend the message, but it was too late. That feature didn't exist in 2010. A new message from Serena popped up. Are you working part-time? What kind of technician are you? Mechanical or IT? Cole felt his face flush. You can't be serious, Serena. You don't know what that means? But then again, he believed it. She was a genuinely good, innocent girl. In his past life, he had been angry about how she'd inadvertently dragged his parents into a humiliating apology at the school, but he never doubted her character. He typed out a serious-sounding explanation. A technician is short for master of technique. I once had the honor of studying under a master of traditional massage. It's a specialized skill, so I call myself a technician. And I think the number 88 is lucky. So yeah, that's it. Serena. Oh, I get it. You mean foot rubs. So you did know. Cole felt a little embarrassed. Serena, My dad gives my mom foot rubs, and it always makes her happy. And the next day, she doesn't nag me to study. So that's why, Cole thought with a private smirk. Of course she's happy. The feet are connected to the soul, after all. He couldn't resist another teasing line. Well, would you like this master technician to rub your little feet for you? He knew she would never agree. Foot rubbing was far too intimate. Sure enough, Serena didn't reply. Cole put his phone away and started humming a tune as he walked back to his dorm. The streetlights didn't quite reach certain secluded spots, which were always occupied by couples locked in zombie-like embraces. It made Cole, a 32-year-old virgin in spirit, feel a bit awkward. He felt like he was sneaking past a crime scene. Can't you people just get a room? He grumbled to himself. After a 20-minute walk, he was just outside his dorm building when his phone buzzed again. Could it be Jasmine? He opened it and saw it was Serena. Serena, Cole, I just took a shower and I washed my feet. They're so sore. Shy emoji, what the hell? What does that mean? Is she booking an appointment? Cole looked up at his dorm, so close, and then thought about the 10-minute walk to the law school. He started to backpedal. At this moment, the king of laziness defeated the king of lust. But just as he was about to make an excuse. Ding! Serena, the bottoms of my feet really hurt. It's a deep ache. Can you please rub them for me? I'll buy you ice cream tomorrow. Cute emoji well. Damn, Cole sighed. She put it like that. If he said no now, he'd crush her feelings. It's my fate to be a working man. So late, and I still have to clock in for a shift. He checked the time. Not quite 9. The dorm's locked at 11:30, so there was plenty of time. He replied, all right. Technician no. 88 is on his way. Please have your feet ready for service. Serena, they're ready. And they don't smell. Cute emoji. Cole burst out laughing. She's kind of an adorable dork. Good thing he was a perfect gentleman. It was a shame that no matter how beautiful a woman was, her feet still smelled. And they all loved to let one rip under the covers and then pretend they were fairies who didn't pass gas. Or worse, blame it on you. The 32-year-old degenerate in him had seen through it all, which was why he'd lost interest in feet long ago. He didn't really want to go, but his pace quickened anyway, hoping to get back and get to sleep sooner. When he arrived at the law school's women's dorm, he saw a white figure on a balcony above quickly dash toward the stairwell. Then, he heard the sound of rapid footsteps. Cole had just sent the text, I'm here, when Serena burst out of the ground floor exit, her voice bright and cheerful. I saw you. She was wearing a pajama set with cartoon bears on it and matching slippers. The top was pushed up high by her chest, which barely swayed as she ran, a testament to its firmness. Cole's laziness was instantly cured. The smoldering embers of his inner horn dog were reignited. He swallowed hard, trying to keep his face a mask of composure. So we should find a place. Okay, Serena nodded, biting her lip, her eyes sparkling. Let's go. We'll see what we can find, Cole said, leading the way out of the dorm complex. She hummed. Seeing Cole walk ahead of her, a flicker of disappointment crossed her face, and she slowed her pace to follow him. Something's wrong. Cole immediately sensed it. A single was a definite red flag. He turned around and saw her puffing out her cheeks, clearly holding something back but too proud to say it. Cole smiled to himself. At the end of the day, she was still just an 18-year-old girl, full of childish moods. He looked up at the bright streetlights and feigned surprise. Wow, it's so dark out here. I should probably lead you by the hand so you don't trip. But he couldn't get too close. He had to maintain that push-and-pull dynamic. So he stood his ground and simply held out his hand. If a girl took the initiative to come to you then, it meant she was willing to cross that distance for you. If not, it meant you didn't rank that high in her heart. All the coyness and hesitation in the world boiled down to one simple question. How much did she value you? The thought had barely formed in Cole's mind when the girl in the pajamas scurried forward and slipped her soft, small hand into his. It is really dark. One of my roommates tripped just last night, Serena said, her cheeks no longer puffed out, her eyes pleading, I'm totally not lying. A phantom roommate, created out of thin air. What perfect coordination. What a team player. Cole squeezed her hand approvingly. It was so soft, so smooth. In that moment, the two of them achieved a kind of perfect, unspoken harmony. Like and dislike, willingness and unwillingness. It was all communicated in that one small gesture. No hesitation, no doubt. Many students were out and about, walking in pairs and trios, the occasional bicycle bell ringing as it passed. In the distance, the faint sound of a guitar drifted on the air, though the melody was unintelligible. Cole couldn't make it out, and neither could Serena. All their attention was focused on their intertwined hands. The beautiful girl in the cartoon pajamas looked like a pixie out for a midnight stroll, and she easily became the center of attention. But when faced with others' gazes, her expression turned cool and distant, and she would occasionally squeeze Cole's hand in return. This earned Cole a volley of stares that felt like tiny needles. If he hadn't been so thick-skinned, he would have been perforated. Not far from the law school, across a tree-lined path, was a large lawn. A few couples were scattered across it, sitting here and there. Cole led Serena for a short distance, a look of disappointment on his face. How can there be no dark, secluded spots? Is that even allowed? He had to settle for a spot far from everyone else. Time was limited. They needed to get started. The ground here was relatively flat, and the light was dim. Serena gracefully arranged her pajama pants and sat down carefully, hugging her knees. Her long, slender calves seemed to glow in the darkness. She pretended to be calm, staring into the distance without a word, but her eyes held a hint of anticipation. Cole understood. He said with a wicked grin, "All right, let's begin." Even in the dim light, he could see her face instantly turn red. Serena's fingers clenched the fabric of her pants, her earlier courage having vanished completely. Then she felt a hand grasp her ankle sock. Ah! She let out a soft cry, propping herself up on her hands. "My slipper," she mumbled, biting her lower lip, her face flushed like a rose. "Here we go," Cole said with a smile. Serena turned her head away, as if there was something fascinating to see in the other direction, and whispered a quiet, "Okay." Cole knew she was embarrassed, so he didn't tease her, not wanting to add to her anxiety. The truth was, he'd never actually done this for anyone else. His only experience was from his past life, from giving himself massages. He wouldn't touch anyone else's feet, but Serena was special. And Jasmine, too. "They don't smell," Serena insisted, her nervous expression tinged with pride. As he worked, she gradually relaxed from her initial shyness, her eyes fixed on Cole's focused face. The person in front of her was familiar, yet it was as if she were meeting him for the first time. He was a little bit bad, but not that bad. He always knew when to stop. He always made her heart race, but she also felt completely safe, never worried that he would do something truly inappropriate. She watched him mesmerized. 40 minutes flew by. Serena had never done any kind of physical labor, and standing at attention all day had been agony. Now, she felt much better. 20 yards away, a couple sat watching the two of them like hawks. "Shameless," the girl said. "I know, right?" In public, the boy agreed. "Look at him," the girl said wistfully. "I can do that," the boy said defensively, grabbing his girlfriend's foot. A smell like a chemical weapon assaulted his nostrils. "Ugh." The girl snatched her foot back, furious. "What's that supposed to mean? We're done. We're breaking up." The boy, his eyes watering from the stench, protested. No, I can't handle it." "Break up," the girl yelled, already running away. The boy scrambled to chase after her. Cole and Serena were completely oblivious, unaware that their actions had just successfully broken up a couple. "Feel better?" Much better." "All right, session's over. We should head back," Cole said, helping her put her sock and slipper back on. "Oh, so soon." Serena's face was a picture of disappointment. She wanted to stay a little longer, but it was getting late. She stood up, feeling loose and refreshed all over. The soreness was completely gone. That felt so good. "I want to do it again." Cole held out his hand, and immediately a small, smooth hand slipped into his. They ambled slowly back toward the dorm, Serena chattering about things that happened in her dorm room. Perhaps because her feet no longer hurt, her steps were light and cheerful, and she sometimes hopped on one foot. When she wobbled, she would grab onto Cole's arm, her eyes constantly shining with joy. Cole listened quietly, responding from time to time. Whenever he turned to look at her, she would be looking at him, a radiant smile on her face. Their path was strewn with the sound of their happy chatter. After dropping Serena off at her building, Cole turned to head back to his own dorm. When Serena ran up to the balcony to look down, he was already gone. She pouted. "Oof." He didn't even wait for me to wave goodbye again. She walked into her room. Her closest roommate, Zoe, immediately noticed something was off. "Where have you been? It's so late. And oh my God, are you wearing pajamas?" "I was just visiting a friend," Serena deflected, rushing into the bathroom. The law school had fewer freshmen, so while the dorms were 6-person rooms, they each had a private bathroom. Serena looked down at the cartoon bears. "What am I doing? This is so embarrassing." Luckily, he didn't know. She quickly took off the pajamas, washed them by hand, and hung them up to dry. Then, like a thief in the night, she tiptoed back to her bed and pulled the curtain shut to change into a new pair. The other girls in the room exchanged strange looks. The roommates didn't say anything, and they certainly didn't tease her. When Serena had first arrived, she had been personally escorted to the room by Professor Chen Baoling, the associate dean of the law school, who had spoken to her with exceptional politeness and concern. The implication was obvious. The next day, during a break, Cole gave the 2 cans of sunblock to Luna. He checked her face to make sure she'd actually used it before heading back to his own group, satisfied. That evening, he got another message from Serena. Technician no. 88, my feet are sore again. Cole thought about all the things he had to do. He probably didn't have time. He needed to scout out other shops, just in case the soup place fell through. You'll have to tough it out for a few days. I'll treat you some other time. One of my roommates is heartbroken over breakup. He's a total wreck. If I'm not here to watch him at night, he'll start running into trees. That's awful. Okay then, I guess I'll just have to endure it, Serena replied. Cole breathed a sigh of relief. He thought of Serena's sweet, obedient face, and for a moment, his heartstrings twanged. Immediately, a small voice in his head cried out in despair. Cole, haven't you suffered enough? Do you remember what a pathetic, laughable idiot you were? The moment you let your real feelings get involved, you're doomed. You'll pour your heart and soul into it. Give her everything, and then she'll leave you. Girls always want something better, and you'll just be a piece of trash she casually throws away. Cole, are you really ready to drown in that lonely, late-night misery again? Cole walked out onto the balcony and stared blankly at the night sky, a grimace slowly forming on his face. No, I'm not, so I'll listen to my own advice. Cole ruthlessly suppressed that flicker of emotion. The cynical degenerate was back in control. For the next few days, Cole spent his free time roaming the streets, but he couldn't find a better spot than the soup shop. The other available places were either too small or the owners weren't ready to sell. The breakthrough came on the evening of the 7th day of field training. Just as the day's session ended, Cole saw an unfamiliar Rockford number on his phone. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be the soup shop? He immediately called back. It rang 3 times before someone picked up. Hello, who is this? Are you the young man who came for noodles the other day? It was the old man's voice. Cole's heart soared. It's happening. He suppressed his excitement. Yes, that's me. Are you the owner, sir? They spoke briefly. The old man was willing to sell, but the transfer fee was still a sticking point. They agreed to meet at the shop after 8 p.m. to discuss the details. After hanging up, Cole was in a great mood. He walked back to where the rest of his roommates were collapsed on the athletic field. Preston was lying on the grass like a dead dog, moaning that he didn't want to live anymore. Do you guys know the name of the prettiest girl in the finance department? Javi asked mysteriously. Preston, who had been half dead a moment before, shot up. What is it? Cora. Javi was pleased with his roommate's reaction. Being the first with the gossip was a great feeling. How do you know? I heard someone call her name. Damn, I thought you actually knew her, Preston said, feigning disinterest, though he was secretly relieved that he hadn't been beaten to the punch. Frank was busy excavating his nostril with his pinky finger, as if there was some hidden treasure inside. He examined his findings before wiping them on the grass next to him. Cole silently made a mental note of the spot. Never sit there. Cora's pretty, but she's nothing compared to the top girl at the law school. That one could be on the campus-wide hot list, Frank said nonchalantly after his excavation was complete. Oh, that got Preston and Javi's attention. Spill it, Preston urged impatiently. You guys don't check Face Power? Frank asked. Face what? Javi hadn't heard of it. It's a website that ranks the girls on campus. Cole, who knew about it, explained. It had been created by a junior. You know about it too, Cole? Damn, I feel like I'm missing out on everything, Preston said, shocked. That's what you get for being addicted to video games. Unlike me, I have a wide range of interests, Frank said smugly. You're getting off topic. Tell us about the law school girl, Cole said, a little curious himself. Could it be Serena? Right. Frank cleared his throat. I don't know her name. There's only one candid photo of her on Face Power. No info. But I'm telling you, she's way hotter than Cora. Cora isn't even in the same league. If there's no info, then what's the point? Preston lost interest. It was probably just some random picture from the internet. Javi suddenly pointed. Hey, that's Cora over there. They all looked. A group of girls was walking toward them from a distance. Are they coming this way? Preston quickly stood up, pretending to adjust his collar. He stretched his neck and straightened his back, trying to look taller. Frank and Javi tensed up as well. Only Cole remained sitting on the ground, his legs spread out. But the girls stopped about 20 yards away. They heard the sound of an English dance track start playing from a phone. One of the girls took off her cap, tying her wavy hair into a low ponytail. She stepped forward and struck a Latin dance pose. Preston, Frank, and Javi were disappointed, but watching her dance was still a good consolation prize. Cole chuckled to himself. Even if she came over, it's not like you'd know what to say. He widened his eyes. Might as well watch the show. The scene drew the attention of all the other guys still lingering on the field. He had to admit, Cora had a great figure. Her long legs moved with a passionate energy as she danced. Cole was mostly focused on her legs and butt. He didn't know anything about Latin dance and found it less interesting than the anime-inspired dance crazes that would come later. When the song ended, a round of enthusiastic applause broke out. A group of guys across the way started cheering, and then a tall, handsome guy walked over with a bottle of water. Cora demurely declined the water but took out her phone. Judging by the guy's excited expression, his request to add her on Facebook had been accepted. When he walked back to his friends, they erupted in cheers. How much of that was genuine was anyone's guess, but Cole figured it was all fake. You think you can get a girl with one bottle of water? Dream on. Getting her on Facebook is just the beginning. The real investment starts now. If she had accepted the water, that would be a different story. But she hadn't. Next, another guy mustered up the courage to go over and ask for her contact info. From his smile, it seemed he had succeeded too. The first handsome guy's expression soured instantly. Preston pouted. I should have gone up there. Cole egged him on. Preston looked tempted. He ran a hand through his hair and looked at Cole. Let's go together. I'm not going. It's pointless, Cole said, shaking his head. Chasing a girl like that was a waste of time. TCH, you're not even trying to get girls' numbers. Something's wrong with you. You're never going to find a girlfriend like that, Preston mocked. They were all convinced the girl who had come to the dorm the other day was Cole's sister. No girlfriend would come to a guy's dorm to help him make his bed. He then asked Frank and Javi, but they both waved him off, one saying he wasn't interested, the other claiming a stomachache. Bunch of cowards, Preston muttered, sitting back down with a thud. The three of them just stared at him. Just then, a sweet, clear voice called out from behind them. Cole! He didn't need to turn around. He knew that voice anywhere. It was Serena. Her voice had a unique, sweet timbre, especially after her little squeal at the food truck. But what is she doing over here? With a confused but smiling face, he turned toward the sound. Sure enough, it was Serena, walking with another girl by her side. Cole waved. Even the drab field training uniform couldn't hide the girl's graceful figure. She pulled her friend along as she jogged onto the field. Her bouncing ponytail felt like it was hitting every guy in the vicinity right in the heart. Her pure, joyful face, tinged with a hint of shyness, was like a radiant star, dazzling every guy close enough to see her clearly. That included Preston, Frank, and Javi. But their feelings were a little different. She's looking for Cole? Why is it always Cole? Frank, on the other hand, felt a flicker of recognition. Why does this girl look so familiar? When Serena reached Cole, the gazes of all the other guys shifted from awe to a potent cocktail of envy, jealousy, and hate. What are you doing here? Cole asked, still sitting lazily on the ground. I just finished dinner and was walking around to digest. And then I saw you, Serena said, her hands clasped in front of her. She looked particularly well-behaved, a water bottle with a cartoon character on it dangling from her fingers. Cole was baffled. All you could see was the back of my head. How did you recognize me? As if on cue, Serena answered his unspoken question. It's your haircut. I can recognize it anywhere. Oh, the haircut. Cole felt a little smug. My haircut must be really cool and eye-catching. There's a little bald spot on the back of your head, Serena explained earnestly. I saw it a while ago. The barber must have slipped. But? A bald spot? Cole felt like he'd been struck by lightning. Is that true? He looked at his three roommates, who were trying their best not to laugh. The look of vengeful satisfaction in their eyes gave him his answer. He reached back and felt around. Sure enough, he found a smooth patch, about the size of a quarter. He always washed his hair in a rush, so he'd never noticed. Are you kidding me? You all knew, and no one told me? Did Jasmine know? Did my parents know? Everyone knew but me. Cole's face turned as black as the bottom of a pot. That hairdresser was ruthless. She'd done him dirty. Serena's friend, Zoe, felt a little indignant on her roommate's behalf. You walked all this way to see him, and he just sits there? What a lack of manners. This is a girl the associate dean personally escorted to the dorm, and she's gorgeous. And this is how you treat her? But to her surprise, Serena turned to her and said, Zoe, let's sit for a bit. And with that, she plopped down right next to Cole. Zoe was speechless. She had no choice but to sit down too. Is that one bottle enough for you? Cole asked, eyeing the small water bottle. It couldn't have held more than 12 ounces. Serena held it up and shook it. It's enough. I don't drink much. See? It's still half full. She noticed Cole's Adam's apple bob and thoughtfully offered the bottle to him. Are you thirsty? You can have some. My hands are busy, Cole said, still brooding over the bald spot. His hands were propped on the ground behind him, just like Serena's had been that night on the lawn. Preston, Frank, and Javi stared. What? You expect a beautiful girl like that to feed you? Are you dreaming? Being that high maintenance is how you lose friends. Zoe scoffed internally. Give him an inch, and he takes a mile. So arrogant. She was sure her roommate was about to get angry. This guy was done for. Under the pitiful and schadenfreude-filled gazes of the onlookers, Serena unscrewed the cap. Leaning on one hand, she twisted her body and brought the mouth of the bottle to Cole's lips. I'll feed you. Preston, Frank, and Javi, Zoe, the nearby students watching. Cole's expression remained calm, but inside he was gloating as he clamped his mouth over the rim of the bottle. As Serena gently tilted it up, he drank it all down in a series of gulps. Oh, that's better. Serena really knows how to back a guy up. Who cares about a bald spot? I have a cutie feeding me water. Do you? Did you put honey in this? It's so sweet, Cole said, smacking his lips. Serena thought for a moment, her bright eyes filled with confusion. No, I drank from it. It's just plain water. Oh, so it's because you drank from it. No wonder it's so sweet, Cole said with a wicked grin. It took Serena a second to get it. Her face flushed all the way to her earlobes. She bit her lip and shot Cole a playful glare. The three roommates stared, mouths agape, unable to believe what they were seeing. Holy crap, you can do that? Cole, you're a legend. Zoe silently cursed him. So shameless. Such a smooth talker. Only a naive girl like my roommate would fall for that. I have to talk to her tonight. She can't trust a guy who talks like that. For the next while, the shameless couple chatted away as if they were the only two people on the field, sharing funny stories from their training. It wasn't until it was almost time for the evening assembly that Zoe, unable to stand it any longer, tugged on her friend's arm. We have to go. We're going to be late. Serena knew she couldn't stay any longer. She said a reluctant goodbye and headed back toward the law school with her roommate. Once they were gone, Frank slapped his thigh. I remember now. That's the law school beauty. I knew she looked familiar. Javi and Preston's eyes went wide. The law school beauty? Cole is with the law school beauty? But seeing her up close, she was easily pretty enough to be the campus queen. Cora from the finance department wasn't even close. Preston threw an arm around Cole. Come on, man, for the sake of being roommates. Help a brother out. Let's set up a mixer with your dorms. Yeah. That other girl, the quiet one, she was cute too, Frank said, excitedly picking his nose and flicking the result into the unknown. Javi didn't say anything, but the greedy glint in his eyes betrayed his hormonal state. A mixer? Cole sneered. Last time you said you were treating us to dinner, you bought one plate of shredded potatoes. And now you want a mixer? A misunderstanding. It was all a misunderstanding. Preston said with a sycophantic grin. I was just worried you guys would get indigestion, so I ordered something light. How about this? If you can set up a mixer, you can eat for free in the dining hall for 3 days. We'll cover it. Hearing I become we, Javi and Frank shot him a resentful look. But splitting the cost 3 ways for 3 days wasn't too bad. Cole considered it. 3 days of free food sounded good. All right, starting tomorrow, one of you pays each day. After the field training is over, I'll see what I can do. Getting Serena to help arrange it shouldn't be a problem. He'd get his 3 days of free food first. Seeing Cole agree, the three of them were overjoyed as if the law school beauty's roommates were already within their grasp. After the evening's exercises, Cole headed to the soup shop. It was empty again. The old woman was still gone. The Cold War was apparently still on. When the old man saw Cole, he managed a wry smile. Where's your wife? Cole asked deliberately after taking a seat. She went to my son's place. With her gone, I'm even busier, the old man said, sitting down and rubbing his scalp worriedly. Well, she's just looking out for you. Your children are so successful. Of course, they should be the priority. I've come around to that idea. Selling is fine. It's time I enjoy my life. But, young man, you can't lowball me on the transfer fee. Don't you worry about that, sir. I'll pay the market rate. As long as you don't take advantage of a young guy like me. You don't have to worry either, young man. I feel like we get along. I'm an honest man. The price will be fair. Honest? Cole scoffed inwardly. You can't be honest and run a business. You know exactly what you're charging for this soup. He put on a deeply moved expression. Sir, I feel like we're kindred spirits. I just want to keep talking to you. It feels like we were fated to meet. The old man laughed heartily. Yes, it is fate. Let me grab a couple of beers. We'll drink and talk. He went to the fridge and pulled out 2 bottles of Kingway, then brought over a plate of peanuts and a mixed plate of lamb, offal, and meat. Cole opened the bottles and poured one for the old man. They clinked glasses. You're a bold young man. I admire that. My shop is in a great location. Students have to pass by here first. You built this from scratch, sir, and raised such outstanding children. It's truly admirable. The competition is fierce these days, and profit margins are thin. It's not like it used to be. A handsome and smart young man like you is bound for success. I spent a lot on renovating this place. The walls alone have several layers of plaster. You flatter me, sir. Compared to an experienced and successful businessman like you, my cleverness is nothing. I'm planning on redecorating anyway. I'll have to tear down all the walls. Their eyes narrowed. They clinked glasses again and drained them in one go. Young man, when I was your age, I was still an apprentice. The young will surpass the old. This shop holds years of my blood, sweat, and tears. It's hard to let go. That just makes me respect you more, sir. You build a place for yourself in this huge city through sheer hard work. But you have to look forward. Let go of what you must. Your grandchildren are where your efforts should go now. You're right. You have to look at the money. Let's do this. I'm a straightforward man. The transfer fee is $18,000, all-inclusive. Since you're being so direct, sir, I'll be honest with you. I'm not running a noodle shop, so I have no use for this equipment. I'll take it for $9,000, $17,000, and I take my things with me. $10,000, and you leave them. The old man and the young man's eyes were slits. They poured another round, emptying the bottles. They drank it down. $15,000 for the empty space. $12,000. We signed a contract now. Smack. The old man slapped the table. $14,500. That's my absolute lowest. Smack. Cole slapped the table too. $12,500. That's the highest I can go. Don't push your luck, young man. Sir, I'm being completely sincere. I have to completely renovate this place. The costs are too high. Final offer. $13,000. And I take my things. How much time is left on the lease? The contract has 6 years left. Fine. Deal. For a shop in any other location, the transfer fee would be a few $1,000s at most. But this was different. $13,000 was acceptable. Of course, that was contingent on there being 3 to 5 years left on the lease. Otherwise, it wouldn't be worth it. Then let's sign the contract. I have one I prepared before, the old man said, his expression relaxing. Don't we need the landlord involved? We have to sign with the landlord, Cole said. He knew the process well. The landlord had to approve any transfer. I am a landlord, the old man said flatly. Holy crap. Cole was floored. This old fox had played him. If he'd known the owner was also the landlord, he could have negotiated the transfer fee down even more. Experience always trumps youth. Still, it wasn't a loss. For this price, there would have been a line of people trying to snatch this place up. If he had pushed harder, he might have gotten it for $10,000 or $11,000. But there was always the risk of the deal falling apart. And there was another benefit. He had established a friendly relationship with the landlord, which would save him a lot of headaches down the road. Cole gave him a thumbs up. Some things were about give and take. You couldn't push too hard. The old man smiled smugly. To be honest, I really do like you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have decided so quickly. You think I didn't know you were after the shop from the beginning? Cole felt a flush of embarrassment and clasped his hands in a gesture of respect. Sir, I was truly interested in opening a shop. You saw right through me. It's a credit to you. If you hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't have even considered it. And you were right. I really should retire. I just couldn't let go. You coming along helped me make the decision. The old man got 2 more beers. They drank and listened to his life story for a while. Then they signed the contract. The old man even produced the deed to prove he was the owner. The space was 420 square feet, and the rent was a steal compared to the neighboring shops. The lease was for 10 years, with an annual increase of only 3%. That was more than fair. Cole had gotten the better end of that deal. Given the old man's character and financial situation, it was unlikely he'd cause trouble later. After they both signed and added their thumbprints, the old man said, "All right, you can wire the money to my account tomorrow. Give me 3 days to clear everything out." "Thank you, sir. You're a good man. I'm not in a hurry." 3 days, 5 days, a week, it's all fine, Cole said with a sincere expression, though he hoped it would be sooner rather than later. The old man glanced at him. "By the way, if you don't have a contractor you know, I can recommend one. An old acquaintance. He won't rip you off." "That would be great. Thank you, sir. Before you leave for Chicago, I'll take you out for a drink." "Forget the drink. As soon as I'm done here, I have to go. I won't be coming back." A shadow of sadness crossed the old man's face. "Don't you have another child working for the utility company here?" Cole asked, curious. "He's in Atlanta. He's not coming back either," the old man said, shaking his head with a sigh. Damn, no wonder he wasn't coming back. 1 kid in Chicago, 1 in Atlanta, both major cities. After saying goodbye to his new landlord, Cole walked back to the dorm, his heart full of joy. After a quick shower, he opened his laptop, plugged in the wireless card and a security key, and transferred a year's rent and the security deposit to the old man's account. It was a cross-bank transfer, so it wouldn't go through until the next day. Then he downloaded an old version of Photoshop and started sketching out the shop's design. He didn't need anything fancy, just a basic layout to show the contractor. He also had to source all the boba and coffee equipment, but that was easy enough to find online. And he needed to rack his brain to remember all the popular boba tea recipes from the future. He happened to know a lot. He once planned to open his own boba shop and had researched the recipes of several major brands. The plan had fallen through for various reasons. In his past life, he had tried everything to get rich, but in the end, it was the internet that had turned his fortunes around. Thinking of the internet made him think of the major platforms. If he could accumulate enough capital, he might be able to carve out a piece of that pie for himself. But first, he had to focus on the task at hand. In the dorm room, Preston was in the bathroom washing a week's worth of accumulated socks. Javi was on the phone with his family, speaking in a rapid-fire Floridian Spanish dialect that was completely incomprehensible. Frank was hunched over his phone, typing furiously, a goofy smile on his face. "Something's up." Preston, squatting over the sink, spotted it instantly. "Frank, what are you doing?" Frank put on a nonchalant smile. "What does it look like?" "Chatting with an upperclassman. It's my favorite hobby." Chatting with an upperclassman? That got Preston's attention, and Cole's too. He stopped his drawing, waiting for the story. Preston loved gossip more than anything. Sure enough, Preston abandoned his socks and walked over, his face a mixture of curiosity and jealousy. "What apartment? What year? Where'd you get her on Facebook? When did this happen?" "Eastwood Media. She's a sophomore. It was 2 days ago. I went out to buy socks and happened to see a group of girls at Noodle Place. They forgot to bring money to pay, so I helped them out. Then we added each other," Frank said with a casual air, but the triumphant glint in his eyes betrayed him. It was a look that said, "You guys finally noticed? You lucky bastard." Preston felt like he'd just eaten a lemon. Why does that never happen to me? He thought about his own meal budget. If he ran into a similar situation, it probably wouldn't be enough. "I have to call home tomorrow and plead poverty, just in case." Cole asked curiously, "How much was the bill?" "Oh, not much. Just under $230, Frank said, a faint smile on his lips, trying to project an air of it was nothing indifference. But Cole saw right through the strained expression. His face was twitching when he said the number. It was the look of someone who had tried to show off and gotten struck by lightning. "You pay the bill for people you don't even know? You should have at least flirted a little first." Cole looked at Frank with a heart full of pity. "So, how's the conversation going?" "Pretty good. She tells me everything," Frank said, sneaking a peek at his chat history, a grin stretching nearly to his ears. "Like what?" Cole continued to dig. "She said she grew up with her grandpa, who grows tea to pay for her education. But now he's sick, and she's worried about selling the tea to pay for his medical bills," Frank said emotionally, his face clouding with concern. Cole was silent. That tea-growing grandpa sure works hard. So many granddaughters, and he's still at it 10 years from now. Preston was deeply moved, as if he were watching a tiny, brave bird struggling in a storm. "That's so sad. She's so strong." Cole glanced at him, then turned back to Frank. "What else did she tell you?" "She said there's some kind of Apple event at the end of September. She wants to go, but she doesn't have anyone to go with, so she's hesitant." Frank's face was aglow with a saintly light, as if he were about to sprout protective wings. "What apple? Where's it from?" "They need an event to sell apples now," Preston asked, confused. Many high school students were economically illiterate. It was normal not to know about Apple products that weren't officially sold in the country yet. "You should go with her. Don't let her be scared to go alone," Cole said with a kind heart, deciding to give him a push. "That's what I was thinking," Frank said, his face a mask of heroic determination. Cole pumped his fist in the air. "Go for it. You're a hero." Frank's spirits lifted. "Yeah, I will." Suddenly, Cole's tone shifted. "But remember, sell whatever you have to, just don't sell a kidney." Frank froze. "Sell a kidney? I'm not opening a barbecue stand." Preston was still stuck. "What is this apple thing? I still don't get it." "Dude, are you messing with me? An apple is an apple. It's just food. Go wash your socks," Frank said with a look that screamed, "You're insulting my intelligence." He then coolly flipped his hair and went back to lavishing attention on his goddess, who was selling tea to save her grandpa. Preston sulked. "I know it's an apple, but I don't know why they need an event to sell it." Cole went back to his design sketch. As for whether Frank would sell a kidney, not a chance. Just buying the tea was enough to wipe him out. The meal cards of the other 3 roommates were doomed. 3 days later, the landlord called on schedule. "Young man, come get the keys." He was a man of his word. During his lunch break, Cole slipped out under the hot sun and went to the soup shop. It was completely empty, not even a table leg left behind. Before he left, the old man had introduced him to a contractor named Mr. Huang, swearing he was reliable. Cole trusted him. Looking at the keys in his hand, he felt a surge of pure joy. The first step of his boba tea empire had begun. There wasn't enough time to discuss the renovation during the day, so he had to wait until evening. After 8 p.m., Cole met the contractor at the shop. Mr. Huang was in his late 40s, with the shrewd eyes of a man who'd been in the construction business for a long time. He was also curious about Cole. It wasn't every day you saw someone so young opening their own business. Mr. Huang assumed Cole came from a wealthy family, and since the old man had recommended him, his attitude was extremely polite. After some discussion, they settled on a price of $4,200 for the entire job, all-inclusive. It covered plumbing, electrical, the work counter, tables, chairs, the door, and the glass storefront. The payment would be made in 3 installments. The next step was to demolish the existing interior. Cole tossed the keys to Mr. Huang and rushed back to the dorm to work on the design plans. The demo would probably be done in 3 days. He had to work at lightning speed to keep up. Drilling in the sun all day, drafting blueprints all night, it was taking a toll on him. Luckily, his 18-year-old body was as strong as a bull. By the time the demolition was nearly complete, the blueprints were fresh off the proverbial press. The drawings were crude, but that didn't matter. An old pro like Mr. Huang only needed a general layout to get the job done. If he couldn't handle it, then Cole had hired the wrong guy. Cole was swamped every day, spending his nights writing down his boba secret recipes. This was his key to victory. He had to take it seriously. He flatly refused his roommates' invitations to the computer lab. But when a certain campus beauty invited him out, he had to handle it more delicately, and he was running out of excuses. That night, a message from Serena arrived. Cole, look at my foot. I think it's swollen. Foot. JPG tapped the attachment. A perfect, pearly foot appeared on the screen, so white it was practically blinding. Her 5 toes were fanned out like a peacock's tail, as if to say, come and get me. The light had been too dim that night. He hadn't been able to see clearly. Only now did he realize just how pale and delicate her feet were. Cole stared at the screen, his mind blank. He swallowed hard. Wait, did I just drool over a picture of a foot? Do I have a foot fetish? For a moment, Cole was baffled by this sudden, unfamiliar interest. Serena's message was full of suggestion, a clear craving for technician no. 88. It poked and prodded at the pent-up horniness in Cole's soul. He silently recited the first 2 words of the Tao Te Ching 10 times to suppress the immoral thoughts welling up inside him. Is this how you test a man's resolve? You underestimate me, Cole. One of my roommates got scammed by a girl selling tea online. He's crying his eyes out. It took 3 of us to hold him back. If I leave, the other 2 definitely won't be able to stop him from jumping off a building, Cole typed. It was the truth. Frank had indeed been crushed by the tea-selling incident. He'd offered up the last of his meager savings, only for the girl to scoff at the amount and unfriend him without a second thought. For the past 2 days, Frank had been a soulless wreck, a zombie during training and a dead dog in the dorm at night. His little heart, once ready to save the world, was shattered. 5 full minutes passed before Serena replied. It was a voice message. He opened it and heard, "My foot is sore. Let him jump." That was a sound that seemed to wrap itself around the globe twice. It was a breathtaking, heart-stopping, delicate, and melodious sound wave attack that shot straight to his brain and nearly paralyzed him. Holy crap, Serena. Just go back to being an ice queen, please. I can't handle this. Do you have any idea what you're up against? A fully unleashed technician now. 88. What's happened to you? You don't even care about human life anymore?